Hello everybody, Phrakture here again. Sorry for the absence. I've just been busy with school and exams and assignments and stuff recently. But anyways, I'm bringing you guys another MPK tutorial. This one will be just a simple one on how to liven up your drum sound, make it sound a little better. Basically try to make it sound less like it's coming out of a cheap drum machine or whatever, which is sometimes what it sounds like when you just use the drum rack and don't put any effects or anything else over it. But yeah, anyways, I'll get on with the tutorial right now. So this is a continuation of the previous drum rack tutorial. All I'm doing is I'm adding some new samples into the drum rack that are from that 808 kit. So all I've done is I've just dropped in another copy of that same 808 kick that I used, but I used the transposition and I transposed it upwards 12 semitones to give it more of a tom-tom vibe. And now what I'm doing is I dropped in another copy of that snare into that cell, except what I'm doing now is I'm changing its sustain and decay, so basically sort of the articulation will be different of the snare. And I'm also adjusting the transposition and I'm making it sound like a different sample. You see, even with the same samples, if you use some of the drum rack's features, such as the ADSR and the transposition, etc., you get to change it up, and you know, if you're constructing a drum pattern, you can create more unique sounds with just a few samples. What you'll notice is it still sounds kind of cheap, pretty dry. There's no effects over it, there's nothing, it's just the raw samples being played out from the drum rack, and you want to make it sound a little more like lifelike, so this is why we're going to include the reverb. So just grab the reverb plugin from the live devices and then just drop it right into the drum rack track. At first this might sound a little weird, but I'll show you how to adjust the reverb's parameters to make it sound the way you want. So let's just mess around with the reverb a bit, just to learn, you know, what does what. So first I'm going to adjust the size of the reverb. See, this sounds like you're in like a huge open stadium because it's got such a ginormous reverb. But this means, you know, you're just in a tiny room with very flat walls. So here's where we would adjust with the decay time. Decay time basically determines how much of the sound, if you imagine it inside a room, how long is the sound going to continue bouncing off the walls and coming back to you. Another thing we can do here is we can take the process reverb sound and we can cut off the low end that comes back from the process sound. This way our kick drum won't be interfering with any sort of bass we have in the song and it sounds a lot better. And just like I showed you before in the other videos, the dry wetness knob will do exactly what you think it's going to do. How much of the process sound versus how much of the input sound are you going to hear. So for this effect I usually like to keep it fairly light because you're just giving the drums a hint of life, like a real room, like space to be part of, you know. Now if you hear it without it, this is what it's like. And now with it. It is a tiny hint, it could be a matter of taste, but it definitely makes this drum sound a tiny bit better and people will definitely pick up on it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to throw in an overdrive over the drum sound. This is just something I like to do. It makes the drum sound more aggressive, gives it more of a hip-hop trap vibe. So yeah, check it out. So you can adjust the drive, the EQ in the bandpass display, and the dry wetness to sort of suit the amount that you want of overdrive on your sound. Basically, I feel when you pair this with the reverb, it gives a very real, in-your-face sort of sound. And if you've made it this far into the video and you still don't believe why I'm showing you this, let me just show you how dull it sounds without both of these effects. So you play that for someone, they'll be like, oh cute, you're playing your little drum set, but then this. See, now that sounds like you know what you're doing. Remember to practice with the MPK. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and the next one will be about how to sidechain, and that'll be a very interesting video as well, so stay tuned. Subscribe. Thank you very much.